Welcome to Startup Confidential, what industry insiders will never tell you that you need to know if you're building a consumer brand. With your host, best-selling author of Ramping Your Brand, Dr. James Richardson. Let's do this.
Welcome to episode 148, Founder Archetypes, the creative founder. Okay, so this is the third in a series on founder archetypes. This time I want to talk about the creative founder. Now, I was a wee harsh on the finance founder recently, and that's because I know these big boys and girls can take it. I'll be nicer in this episode because, quite honestly, the people I'm discussing are a lot more sensitive. In fact, you, on the other side of this camera, are probably one of them. Okay, creativity. With all the obsession about generating millions as a creator among Gen Z, you'd think this skill set had no downsides. I mean, surely being highly creative has no risk associated with it, right? This founder archetype is honestly the most common one I see in the premium end of CPG entrepreneurship. I mean, it's the majority of the people that you meet at Expo West and Fancy Foods. But let me define creative a bit more tightly to make sure I'm really being clear. I'm talking about founders whose primary business orientation is to product innovation, not finance, not branding, not marketing, not sales or ops. Another way of putting it is that these are the founders who really anchor their happiness in the design of new products and less in selling them, let alone growing a complex CPG brand or team. Founders with this bias are often category geeks who love making new items in their category. They repeatedly want to return to the womb of creativity to float. Cognitively, they get stuck in the excitement of launch mode. I mean, think of the chocolatier at Fancy Foods. These people love to make new stuff for their own amusement and enjoyment and holiday sales. Often these folks skew to the fancy food end of the industry, and not to butt wipes. The creative founder is focused primarily on product and on their ability to generate more innovation, and finally, on evangelizing or heralding that great innovation to the entire world. Look what I made! And this is where things can get a wee out of control. Creative founders have a set of weaknesses and blind spots relatively unique to them, and I believe that they need to be surfaced very quickly in the entrepreneurial journey if these folks want to scale and survive. Honestly, many don't care about scaling. That's okay. I mean, they'll probably end up losing less in the end. But if that creative founder wants to develop a focused, fast-growing brand, the first weakness is that creative founder guy generally lacks business experience of any kind and almost always lacks experience in consumer packaged goods. They are the last to understand the margin dilutive nature of having SKUs in very different production categories and the overall sheer cost of complexity. The second weakness is that creative founder guy is an idealist at heart. Look, I'm not trying to knock idealism. I write a Substack. I'm a reformed idealist in a sense. But the point I'm making here is that the creative founder is prone to dream and fantasize a lot, and without alcohol or psilocybin. This can be a strength, but generally leads to a lack of practicality that can literally kill a young CPG startup before it has even had a chance to rise above its fixed operating costs and breathe. Creative founder guys often also not particularly well trained in finance or data analytics, or honestly, anything related to math. Math gives them the heebie-jeebies. They may have gotten C's in algebra. Who knows? The creative founder prefers round corners, soft drop shadows, to cleverly formatted tables and linked cells in Excel. The problem with all these blind spots, folks, is that creative founder person, awesome as she is operating in a very low net margin industry due to the various go-to-market and promotional expenses that are required to get to market. CPG does not permit a huge margin for financial error, especially in the early years. If you get lost dreaming about the new raspberry cream-filled truffle skill, you will get burned. along with your trouble. The first time that creative founder gets a distributor invoice payment for almost nothing due to UNFI's onboarding fees and promo chargebacks, they generally have a panic attack of varying lengths, from hours to days. The creative founder, you see, didn't see any of that coming. They didn't do the financial cost projections and cash flow forecasting. How the hell did this happen? They ask the clouds. Who are these crooks? They ask finance founder guy at the local startup club meetup. I have not had time to put together the database and run the numbers, but I suspect that finance founder guy makes it through the death funnel to $500K in gross sales, primarily because of their sensitivity to managing financial risk. And this is why I basically beg and plead with creative founders to get training in how to set up a P&L, go-to-market cost estimation, and cash flow forecasting before they ship their first pallet to a distributor warehouse. Creative founders are very willing to take risks with innovative product. That's great. That's why highly creative founders have produced some amazing things in the last 25 years in consumer packaged goods. It's honestly why they're much more innovative than the average innovation team at a big company. The primary risk that creative founders are happy to take is cultural risk. The risk of being perceived as crazy by the American masses and even by a fair share of their friends. As is often the case with small business people, though, the creative founder leans in too much to the area of risk they feel comfortable with and under-examines the other zones of risk in a business venture. This is no longer excusable. One of the best uses of a local startup club or accelerator is to hoover up information on the latest route to market costs from your peers, or spend $200 for the basics course at the Specialty Food Association Winter or Summer Fancy Food Show. It's all day long. They do it twice a year. Just do it before you order any product. It's the smartest money you'll ever spend, and you'll come away grounded in issues around P&L setup, pricing to stay alive and grow, etc. You even walk away with a manual. Later on in their journey, the creative founder person gets tempted by their growing cash flow. Tempted to keep launching things not only to entertain themselves, but to grow. Grow through line extension is a strategic blunder if you want to ride the ramp and accelerate your brand quickly to profitability. You have to rein in the desire to keep launching cool, neat stuff and hug a core set of hero UPCs that drive 90% of your profits and 90% or more of your revenue. This level of discipline does not come easy to the creative founder or the VC-backed founder. It's critical to stick to your core, scalable, money-making UPCs and avoid distractions. Mark Cuban once told the Dude Wipes team not to drown in opportunity after Shark Tank lifted their Amazon sales dramatically and provided the temptation of good cash flow. Cuban was referring to spreading the business in every possible channel prematurely, a common behavior of VC-backed companies at the time. When I came on as an advisor in 2021, I reinforced that theme of focus by telling the dudes to stick to the damn wipes. Wear the wipes. Make your bed with the wipes. Hang curtains of wipes in your windows. Wipes, wipes, wipes. The bidets, poo spray, and bath bombs went to the margins of Amazon. Focus massively accelerated the business and still does as the brand symbol becomes ever more attached to those lovely, dripping XL wipes. I hope this episode lights a fire. Embrace your creative founder self. Honor it, love it, but do not ignore the other key risks of a startup venture. That's all for now, folks, and as always, be safe out there.
Thanks for listening. Remember, Dr. Richardson has loads of resources for founders at premiumgrowthsolutions.com. And when you're on his site, don't forget to take his founders quiz and see if you're ready to ride the skate ramp of exponential growth.